Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Matala, and I am the advisor for the class of 2020. On behalf of these seniors and the entire Cristo Rey Jesuit community, I would like to welcome you to the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen for the 10th commencement exercises of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. So that everyone may enjoy this happy day, please silence all cell phones. Due to COVID-19 restrictions and the social distancing guidelines of the cathedral, please remain seated for the duration of this ceremony. If you must use the restroom, it is located at the main entrance of the cathedral. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. However, we want to ensure that all guests are safe and in compliance with Baltimore City's health guidelines. Thank you for your cooperation. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the class of 2020. Will the class of 2020 please stand? Class of 2020, please take your seats. And now please welcome Mr. Walter Reap, Principal.
Good afternoon and welcome guests and graduates. As the principal of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, it is an honor to stand before you and to present the class of 2020. When the class of 2020 started on campus as ninth graders, I was beginning my journey as the new principal of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. As nervous as I was to begin this portion of my vocation, this class was confident, assured, and comfortable in their new school. The class of 2020's confidence has been a source of inspiration for our underclassmen and a source of pride for me as their principal. I am so happy to share in their excitement for reaching this milestone. Each and every member of the class of 2020 has also been accepted into college. Together, this class has been awarded in merit scholarships and financial aid more than $1.3 million for the first year and over $5.3 million collectively over 4 years. Many people contribute to our students' success. At this time, please join me in thanking our outstanding faculty and staff. Last, but most definitely not least, I would like to thank the parents and family members of our graduates. From our hearts, we thank you for your partnership and your support over the past 4 years.
And now please welcome Mr. John Bussey, Director of the Corporate Internship Program.
For the past 4 years, the class of 2020 has made its impact across Baltimore in businesses, hospitals, law firms, and technology departments, in classrooms and museums and social impact organizations by showing up 5 days per month at their corporate internships. Over 100 corporate and community partners have invested intentionally and directly in these students, both financially and even more importantly, through the crucial daily efforts of over 300 workplace supervisors. This impact, your impact, will echo in the achievements and continued success of these graduates into the future for years to come. We are grateful for your belief in the young people of Cristo Rey, for opening doors of opportunity, and for your actions toward a more just, more inclusive world. Thank you, students. Thank you, supervisors, and thank you, partners. The world is waiting, class of 2020, and you are ready.
We will now hear from Kendall Leitner, the Salutatorian for the class of 2020. Our Salutatorian is designated the most outstanding student worker by Cristo Rey Jesuit's corporate internship program. Kendall has interned with Ernst & Young and Mercy Medical Center during his time with the corporate internship program. Since his freshman year, Kendall's distinct professionalism, his advocacy for himself and others, and his desire to learn have stood out among his peers. While our corporate partners may have opened the doors of opportunity, Kendall walked confidently through and far exceeded even the highest expectations. I am pleased to invite Kendall Leitner to the podium now to share a few remarks.
Hello, my name is Kendall Leitner. Today I'm honored to stand before you as the class of 2020 Salutatorian. I would first like to thank everyone for coming tonight despite the pandemic we are still in the midst of. Today I want to talk to you about my corporate work experience and what it has meant to me. When I was in my freshman year internship at Ernst & Young with Miss Susan and Mr. Rudy, at this internship I stocked coffee, tea, scanned, tracked, and ensured the safe delivery of packages to its proper recipient, along with front desk duties. I know to you, as well as to me at the time, this may seem like a small task no one noticed, but lo and behold, at the end of my freshman year, I won Employee of the Year. I didn't win it because I was the best at stocking coffee or tea or even answering the phones, even though I must say, I think I have the voice for it. I won it because of the hard work that Cristo Rey taught us during Preface Success and the lessons I would soon learn over the next 4 years. I saw that my little actions made a big difference, just like many of you have made a big difference in your own internships. For example, Ms. Tyler Dillard had been a part of the M&T Bank Stadium team and got involved with the youth mentoring program at her internship, using her gifts to push children in the right direction. Tyler, you will never know how many lives you have touched and the effect you have had on those kids just from that program. Along with Kashay Spivey, who worked at Port Discovery and was a part of the team that ensured that they built a sensory-friendly space for all its guests that visited. We have all made and learned so much from our internships. Going into my sophomore year, I had the chance to work in Mercy Medical Center. As soon as I heard Mercy Medical Center, I just knew that I was going to be saving lives. Before even getting my job, I came into Mercy with a team that included Dia Simmons, Brianna Hoyt-Cooper, and Estefania Garcia-Torres. We were all wide-eyed sophomore interns, wondering what this experience would bring. Think we'd be the next Grey's Anatomy team, running down the hall and diagnosing patients. All I needed to know was where was the defibrillator, so when someone's heart stopped, I would be the first person there to restart it. However, reality hit me all but too quickly to find out I wouldn't be saving lives right away. I'll be working with Ms. Rochelle and Michelle at the Center for Endoscopy and Urology. Which you are confused, those are the gastric tract, aka your stomach, and the urinary system. So instead of restarting hearts, I was making beds, checking in patients, going to get family members, and folding hospital gowns. Yeah, the only thing that needed to be restarted was my hope that I'd be working in a hospital like Grey's Anatomy. However, the team I worked with was so helpful and welcoming. I truly enjoyed my time there and was sad to go. Moving into my junior year, I worked at post-operative unit with Ms. Tanya Gross. There I learned so many skills. Some of the most impactful skills I learned about the heart and how it worked. I learned about PVCs, which are premature ventricular contractions, PACs, premature atrial contractions, bundle branch blocks, and so much more. For those of you who don't know, I hope to one day be a cardiologist. Moving into my final internship, I was in interventional radiology. Now, even though I spent a half a year there, I'm still not 100% sure what they do. What I do know is they did operations right there on that floor. I even got to go into a couple procedures. However, as we all know, my time there was cut short, so I never got the full experience. While I didn't get the full experience like all the graduates here today, I'm sure like the rest of you, I cherished each moment I did have in my internship. They molded me to the person I am today. Now, moving on to some thank yous. I would like to thank all the teachers, staff, faculty, and all else involved at Cristo Rey. Thank you to the teachers for all the late night homework that has given us an excellent work ethic and taught us how to get things done by the deadline. Even if the assignment was due at 11:59, if we're being real, most people turned it in at 11:58. Thank you to Principal Reed for always having your door open if we ever just needed to talk. Thank you to Vice Principal Rabick for always making sure we had computers. Thank you to Mr. Lifsey for always making sure we were in shape, because everyone knew when they heard his keys and you had a jacket on, run in the opposite direction. Thank you to the CIP team for making sure we made it to work and we got our timesheets done. Most importantly, thank you to all the parents, guardians, aunts, uncles, and whoever for supporting your graduate over the last 4 years. I would like to give a big thank you to my biggest supporter, my mother. This woman is my biggest headache. She would get on my nerves about, are you eating? Take a break from homework. She stayed on my back to make sure I wasn't stressed. However, this woman is and will always be my ride or die. Every event, every dance, everything, she was there. If it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't be graduating today. She has pushed me to finish when I wanted to give up. I don't say it enough, but thank you, Mom, for everything. We know that this journey wasn't easy for us, so we made it hard for those who supported us at times. I know it was time when your child begged you to drop out of CRJ or to transfer, but you knew it was best and you made us stay. I know we were all the better to say that we graduated from Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. Not a lot of people can say that. We started off with over a class of 90 students, and we are now down to 72. We are the 72 still standing strong to tell the story. As I stand before you, I realize this is the end of an era. We had some good times, we had some bad times. We laughed together, we cried together, but we laughed a lot more together. This isn't goodbye or farewell. This is only a start to the next chapter. A chapter that brings hope, a chapter that brings promise. So fly high, Hornets. It's now time to fly away from the nest. But even the Hornets return to the nest every now and again. So never forget where you come from. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2020.
At this time in our program, we pause to offer 3 special awards to graduating seniors. The Asia Ring Memorial Award, the Pedro Arrupe S.J. Faith That Does Justice Prize, and the Cristo Rey Way Award. Our admissions director, Mrs. Patricia Hill, will acknowledge the first award.
The Asia Ring Memorial Award honors the memory of Asia Ring, a beloved employee of CRJ's, Cristo Rey Jesuit's corporate internship program. The awardee will receive a certificate and a specially commissioned medal following the ceremony. This award is given to the member of the senior class who has most consistently demonstrated Asia's best qualities: the determination to succeed despite obstacles and setbacks, a strong work ethic, a straight-talking, no-nonsense, down-to-earth approach to life, a unique confidence in one's own style, a loving nature, and a great sense of humor. The winner of the 2020 Asia Ring Memorial Award is Kayla Medlin. Will you please stand? Congratulations.
Father Sean Toole will now present the Pedro Arrupe S.J. Faith That Does Justice Prize.
The Pedro Arrupe S.J. Faith That Does Justice Prize is named for the former Superior General of the Jesuits. Considered the second founder of the Society of Jesus, Pedro Arrupe ushered in a renewed focus on social justice for Jesuits during the 1970s. He called for us, all of us, to put our faith into action. We should be living the gospel call to love each other and look out for the least among us. This award is given to the member of the senior class who exemplifies the spirit of Pedro Arrupe, the student who has gone beyond the community service requirements, shown compassion to those less fortunate, and shown a commitment to being a voice for the voiceless. This senior also shows an understanding of social change, a willingness to be a peacemaker in school and community settings, and a genuine desire to develop a personal spirituality. The winner receives a certificate and a Cristo Rey medal following this ceremony. The winner of the 2020 Pedro Arrupe S.J. Award is Jada Wilson. Will you please stand?
Mr. Walter Reep will now present the Cristo Rey Way Award.
The Cristo Rey Way Award is given annually to the member of the senior class who most exemplifies the qualities of the Cristo Rey Way. The selected student has consistently demonstrated sterling character, personal integrity, excellent attendance, a caring disposition, a clear commitment to community service, and a steadfast work ethic. Eager to help others and honest in all dealings, this student has made academic study and job performance priorities and has also gone out of his or her way to be a model citizen in the school community. The awardee will receive a specially commissioned medal following this ceremony that bears the words, "Ad Mariam Dei Gloriam," for the greater glory of God. The winner of the 2020 Cristo Rey Way Award is Kendall Leitner. Would you please stand?
And now please welcome our president, Dr. Bill Heiser.
I am truly honored today to introduce this year's commencement speaker, a well-known leader in Baltimore for decades that has served in political, legal, and educational realms. To say that Kurt Schmoke is someone committed to education would be an understatement. After graduating from Baltimore City College, he went on to earn his undergraduate degree in history from Yale. From there, he pursued graduate studies on a Rhodes Scholarship at Oxford University and earned his law degree from Harvard University. He began his career in law and served as the state's attorney for Baltimore City from 1982 to 1987. From there, Mr. Schmoke went on to serve as mayor of Baltimore for 12 distinguished years from 1987 to 1999. As mayor, he was recognized by the Bush and Clinton administrations for his work to promote literacy and economic empowerment. Since serving as mayor, Mr. Schmoke has continued to promote positive change in his work. He practiced law and served as dean of Howard's Law School for 9 years, where he focused his attention on increasing the law school bar exam pass rate and expanding the clinical law program to emphasize matters of environmental justice, fair housing, and civil rights. In July of 2014, Mr. Schmoke was appointed president of the University of Baltimore, and under his leadership, he has made an incredible difference in the lives of students across Baltimore, the state of Maryland, and our nation. Without further ado, family, friends, faculty, and students, please help me welcome Mr. Kurt Schmoke.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Heiser, for that warm introduction to the students, faculty, and staff of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, to the parents. Good afternoon. It really is quite a pleasure and an honor for me to be with you this afternoon. And I first of all want to let particularly the students to know that I recognize that this is your day. The focus should be on you. My children always tell me to keep it short and sweet. And I think those who invited me recognize that I'm from the school of public speaking that believes that a speech, in order to be immortal, need not be eternal. So today we honor outstanding future leaders of our community. And I must say that even though you have a mask on to deal with our current public health situation, I can kind of feel the excitement and the pleasure. Kendall was giving his talk. I looked over at his mother, and she has a mask on, but I could see the smile on her face. It's quite an honor. I know every one of you probably share that same excitement, and obviously you should, because these are future leaders of our community. Now, as mentioned, I currently serve as the president of the University of Baltimore. And recognizing the talent that's in front of me, you would think that I should use this opportunity to try to do a little recruiting. In particular, I happened to notice, looking at your website, that one of the slogans for Cristo Rey Jesuit High School was where learning gets to work. Well, it just so happens that one of our slogans at the University of Baltimore is knowledge that works. So I could see some compatibility there, but I won't try to recruit, no, but just in case you happen to want to go to an outstanding university with high academic standards and a reasonable cost, you know how to get in touch with me. Well, I've got two things that I am supposed to do today. First is to congratulate you, and second is to thank you. Now, you might understand pretty easily why congratulations is in order. Listening to that list and reading the college acceptances, the amount of money that has been acquired now in scholarships, you are following an outstanding tradition of this high school, and for that you should be congratulated. But I also wanted to thank you. And you might say, well, why are thanks in order? Well, thanks in particular to the members of this class of 2020, because you're actually role models. You are role models already for a lot of young people in our community. They may not know individually all your names, but they know the success. They know where you came from, where you are now, and what you're likely to do in the future. You really are inspiring people. You may not know it, but you serve as inspiration to a lot of young people in our community who some people might say they can't, but you, through what you have done, say they can, that they really can achieve and move along, and for that you have our thanks. Now you've got to focus on the future, and you will find in moving along in your future that you're going to get a lot of advice from adults. Now, some advice you'll have to decide what's good, what's bad. How do you process that advice? I wanted to give you just two examples from my own experience. Now, it may not look like it, but I once was a football player. I was a quarterback of our high school football team that actually in my junior year won the equivalent of the city championships. We were good. We went undefeated, and I was the quarterback of that team. So going into my senior year, I'm out on the field warming up with a good friend of mine, throwing the ball back and forth. I said I was the quarterback. My coach, who happened to be both a history teacher and the coach of the football team, came up to me and he said, Kurt, what are your plans for the future? I said, well, Coach, you know, I'm going to college. He said, well, where are you applying? I'm throwing the ball back and forth. I said, well, I'm going to apply to Ohio State, Penn State, maybe even Notre Dame. And he stood next to me and he put his arm around me and he said, well, I just want to say one thing to you. And I said, what's that, Coach? He said, you're not that good. I looked at him, I said, oh my goodness, you know, I'm crushed here. I am the quarterback of a championship team and he's telling me I'm not that good. He said, no, I just want you to look around and look around at the players on the team. And for many of these guys, football is going to become more and more important in their lives as after they graduate high school. For you, football is going to become less and less important after you graduate from high school. So here, let me give you a list of another group of colleges. And he did. He made some recommendations. I followed those recommendations and ended up having a wonderful experience in college. But in each passing year, opportunities opened up that were away from sports, and I pursued those opportunities, had a wonderful time. Unfortunately, I never was as good in college in sports as I was in high school. Though, let me give you the second example. I went on, as was mentioned, I went on to college and then to law school. I got a job, and may have been in one of the firms that some of you might have interned with this year. It's now called DLA Piper. It was then Piper and Marbury. But like many of you, growing up, people would ask me all the time, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was very interested in politics from a very early age, and I would always say, I want to be mayor of Baltimore. That's what do you want to be? That's my answer. Well, while I was at the law firm that summer, a man came up to me. His name's Roger Redden. He was a lawyer at the firm. And he said, Kurt, what do you want to do with your law degree when you finish? I said, I want to be mayor of Baltimore. He stopped me and he said, I didn't ask you what you want to be. I asked you what you want to do. That really struck me at the time, because had somebody given me the magic wand right then, made me mayor, I had no idea of what I wanted to do with the job. And so that really struck me, and you can imagine, because I remember it to this day. And I started to pursue and think about, what did I really want to do? What kind of impact did I want to have? And that's what I wanted to convey to you this afternoon. That I hope that as you are striving for certain things, whether it's going to be a doctor, an artist, a teacher, that you're striving for certain things, certain status, think about, though, what it is that you actually want to do. What kind of impact do you want to have? How do you want to serve? How do you want to use the God-given talents that you definitely have to improve the quality of life of others? Because it's in the doing that is the most important. So I hope that when you leave here today, you get your diploma, that you will think and give very serious consideration to the doing, what it is that you would like to do. And I also hope that you will commit yourself to lifelong learning. You know, they say, they often say, you know, commencement means beginning. Well, it does, but it is a commitment to lifelong learning. Things change so fast. The skills that you have now are going to have to be renewed over and over and over again. The employment opportunities are going to be many and varied, and what you want to do with that education will change over time. But I know that you have the skills, that you have the talent, that you have the commitment that's going to allow you to adapt to those changes as you move along. And one last thing on advice. I sometimes got frustrated about the pace of success, that things just didn't seem to be moving. I wasn't making the grand difference that I thought that I should make. And my grandmother stopped me once and she said, let me give you a little advice. It's a little slogan that's helped me as I've moved along in life. And I said, what's that, Grandma? She said, by the yard, life is hard, but by the inch, life's a cinch. And what that simply meant was that you set those goals. You may not get to the top of the rung at the first time, but you can inch up towards the progress. Use those talents that you've developed at Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. Use those God-given talents, as I said, to move along. And I know that you will achieve the goals that you set for yourself, for your family, and for your community. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful career.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schmoke, for those inspiring words. The class valedictorian is the member of the class of 2020 who has achieved in his or her core classes the highest academic grade point average over the course of his or her 4 years at CRJ. This student has set the bar for academic excellence in the class of 2020. As a community, we have watched Jada transform through his experience at Cristo Rey. As a quiet ninth grader wearing a fedora, Jada stood out amongst his classmates. Jada facilitated a meeting with other students at the end of his junior year where the conversation centered on student leadership in a Jesuit school. That conversation helped conceptualize how CRJ students can lead through social justice experiences. We look forward to how Jada and his classmates will continue to develop their leadership skills by directly placing themselves at the center of social justice issues. Please join me in congratulating Jada Wilson, the class of 2020 valedictorian.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. Hello! During this quarantine, with very little else to do, I took some time to clean my room. For those of you that had seen my room beforehand, I'd just like to say I'm sorry. While I was cleaning, I stumbled upon an old journal, where inside I found this quote on one of its pages. "A garden, when planted at the right time, will grow on its own." Again, a garden, when planted at the right time, will grow on its own. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who said that. But reading it made me think, that was really nice. And then I threw the book away. It wasn't my proudest moment in life. But then I dug the book back out of the trash can, and I immediately started connecting the quote to our Cristo Rey experience. To do this right, I had to answer 3 questions. The first question, is the class of 2020 a garden? The second, if we are, were we planted at the right time? And lastly, did we grow on our own? Again, the first question is the class of 2020 a garden? Is it something that can create life? I think we can all say with no doubt that the class of 2020 gives you life. The class of 2020 for the past 4 years has been the life of every party. It is the heart of so many of our sports teams, and in my opinion, it is the spirit that has fueled Cristo Rey. But we also give life in ways so rarely appreciated. Where other classes may have been more vocal or well-worded, we have been active. We do what others think, and we act without second thought. When one is able to act with their mind's first intention, they act in their most genuine self. And in a world where a genuine soul has become so rare, seeing it in amongst a group of young leaders should always be a source of inspiration, a source of life. So yes, we are a garden. The second question is, were we planted at the right time? Now, I know without a doubt that all of us are happy to be leaving Cristo Rey. However, I think we can all say that there was a moment when we realized we needed something from Cristo Rey. I'm sure many of us can pinpoint that particularly rough moment that we've been through in the past 4 years, and how during that moment, it was someone from Cristo Rey that helped get us through it. No matter if they were a teacher or more likely a fellow student, you wouldn't have met them had you not come here when you did. So yes, while we may not want to accept it now, there will come a day when we realize that we were planted at Cristo Rey at the right time, and that timing gave us something that we needed. That brings us to the last question. Did we manage to grow on our own? Meh. Again, this is one of those questions we may not be able to fully answer right now. However, I'm certain that we can say yes. We did grow on our own. No matter what our parents may say about how much they had to spend for us to get this far, or no matter what our teachers may say about how they pushed us to succeed, we are here today because of our own merits. our own strength, determination, actions, and willpower. No matter what someone says or does for you, you must remember that this is your life. You must navigate it on your own. Yes, others can help man the ship, but you are the captain. So I will remind you all of the quote again. A garden, when planted at the right time, will grow on its own. Now, for my classmates, I want you to look to your left. And now look to your right. Look at the people around you and think of all the moments that you shared with each and every one. I hope that when you look around, you see more than just your peers. When I look at us, and when I think of the times that we've spent together, I see the garden that we've made. I see the vivid flowers and the decorative bushes, the ripe and fresh fruit, the incredibly powerful trees. I see not only the seeds from which we've grown, but also those that we've planted. When you look around at each other, I want you to see that this is a beautiful garden. And it's one that we've all created. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jada. And now, we are pleased to present to you the Cristo Rey Jesuit High School Class of 2020. Graduates, please stand when your name is called.
The following members of the Cristo Rey Jesuit High School Class of 2020 have successfully completed the prescribed course of studies and are awarded a high school diploma.
Miguel Angel Aguilar.
Mike Jose Aldana.
Jaden Chanel Anthony.
Jamel Kamani Atkinson.
Zachary Khalil Bacon.
Estelle Omeoyi Badolo.
Kanaya Venice Baltimore.
Destiny Latrice Barnes.
Kyrie Kion Barrett.
Matthew Scott Barwick.
Victor Ramon Bess Banks.
Jeremy Walter Calafiore.
Jaden Nakia Carr.
Anaya Shawnee Chase.
Eric Antonio Cruz.
Christian Eldon DeShiel.
Tyler Larissa Dillard.
Jayla Maria Irvin.
Tamaya Ashley Evans.
Tyler Terrell Fullwood.
Jimmy Brian Garcia.
Estefania Garcia Torres.
Jayana Gentry.
Zanaya Marjay Golder.
Devin Keenan Goodman.
Hamel Joseph Hamilton.
Robert Hamlin IV.
Fernando David Hernandez.
Brianna May Holt Cooper.
Enya Janae Jackson.
Bryce Najee Jones.
Diamond Renee Jones.
Ayana Michaela Jones Elmore.
Terry Christina King.
Ashley Marcella Lazo.
Tavion Damari Lee.
Kendall Miles Leitner.
Michaela Deshay Lomax. Alejandro Sem Martinez. Kayla Tashay Medlin. Tamari Areli Medrano Solano. Dakor Sade Jaraija Mohammed.
Shania Jasmine Neal.
Kennedy Marie Ramsey Nelson.
Anaje India Oliver.
Aaron Jarrell Perez.
Nicholas DeJean Perry.
Jamarius Walter Devon Ray.
Kamari Tatiana Reed.
Katie Johanna Reyes.
Jabari Logan Rada.
Terrell Maurice Rogers Jr.
Marcia Jacina Regado Romano Delgado.
Dion Sanchez Rosado.
Jordan Sanchez Rosado.
Keon Sanchez Rosado.
Melina Michelle Rose.
Brenton Leonto Scott.
Dear Sanaa Simmons.
Shamira Ariana Marie Smith.
Kamor Brielle Spencer.
Kaishay Janine Spivey.
Brandon Tariq Stewart.
Courtney Kalia Tillman.
Anaya Jaren Wade.
Anaya Rochelle Walker.
Jason Angelo Walker.
Cache Tiana White.
Jada Tyann Wilson.
LaKayla Aaliyah Winchester.
Darren Scott Yancey Jr.
Latice Kelly Zavala.
Class of 2020, please stand. You may now signify your new status as graduates of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School by moving your tassel from the right to the left. Class of 2020, you may be seated.
We close this joyous day with a benediction offered by Father Sean Toole.
Graduates of our 10th graduating class here at Cristo Rey, each day of your high school career, you have heard, and in many cases said, St. Ignatius Loyola's prayer for generosity. And while it has now been 128 days since we have gathered together in person, I wonder if, for one final time, we might pray that prayer together. Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve as you deserve, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to ask for reward except that of knowing that I do your will. At this time, I'd like us to expand on that prayer. Graduates, I invite you to remain seated, but everybody else, staff, families, if you could rise and extend a hand of blessing over our graduates, that we might be able to pray for them. And normally this isn't possible, but it's available to us this year. If you wish to lay a hand on your child's shoulder or on his or her head, I invite you to do that, families, so that our prayers, those prayers coming from those who are watching all over this country and world, might be able to extend through you. Graduates, I invite you to bow your heads. Lord Jesus, teach us to be generous. Señor Jesús, enséñame a ser generoso. Teach us to recognize when those around us are in need. Teach us to give of ourselves. Teach us to serve you as you deserve, a servirte como tú mereces. Teach us to act out of love toward our neighbors. Teach us to live out this call, to give and not to count the cost, a dar sin medida, to give freely of our gifts, to give and expect nothing in return, to fight and not to heed the wounds, a combatir sin temor a las heridas, to fight for what is right and good in the world, to fight for and with those on the margins and those who are voiceless, to toil and not to seek for rest, a trabajar sin descanso, to toil for our own good and the good of our community, to toil for the greater glory of God, to labor and not to seek for reward, sin esperar otro recompensa, to labor for the rights of those less fortunate, to labor for the good of Baltimore and the whole world, except knowing that we are doing your will, que saber que hemos cumplido su santa voluntad. St. Ignatius of Loyola, pray for us. May God bless you, graduates of 2020, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. You may be seated.
This will conclude today's celebration. Please remain seated and do not exit the cathedral. Mrs. Hill will dismiss each family individually to adhere to proper social distancing guidelines. Graduates, upon individual dismissal, please make your way directly to the table underneath the canopy located outside, directly across from the cathedral's main entrance, to receive your diploma and/or award. We wish our graduates Godspeed, and we offer each and every one of you heartfelt and sincere thanks for sharing today with us.